Most seniors believe walking is the key to staying healthy after 70. It's commonly thought that walking keeps us mobile, improves heart health, and boosts longevity. But what if I told you that leading doctors are now raising a warning? What if, despite all those daily steps, walking could actually be accelerating the aging process rather than slowing it down? Walking is good for many things: heart health, mental clarity, and mobility. But it's not the complete answer. In fact, relying solely on walking as the solution to aging might be a trap. While it helps maintain mobility, walking alone cannot preserve your strength, balance, or protect your joints as you age. That's right, the very things you're trying to prevent. And here's the kicker: focusing exclusively on walking while ignoring critical forms of movement can actually accelerate the deterioration of your body. It can lead to muscle loss, increase the risk of falls, and result in joint damage. It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? You might think that a daily walk is the best thing you can do for your body, but the truth is, there's so much more to aging well. In this video, I'm going to share 5 essential movements that are often overlooked but crucial to keeping you strong, independent, and healthy as you get older. These simple adjustments to your daily routine can not only add years to your life, but dramatically improve your independence. Stay with me until the end, because the final recommendation is something that very few people discuss, but it's absolutely essential for your longevity. Let's start with the most urgent priority, something that's silently affecting your strength every single day. Strength training. While walking does wonders for your heart and mind, it does little to preserve muscle mass. After 70, your body naturally loses 3 to 5% of muscle mass every decade. This condition is called sarcopenia. Now, muscle loss isn't just about looking strong. It's about staying independent, and that's where the real challenge lies. Let me ask you something. Have you noticed everyday tasks becoming harder? Are your grocery bags feeling heavier? Do you need to push yourself up from soft chairs? Is opening jars turning into a 2-person job? These aren't just inconveniences. They're warning signs that your muscles are weakening. It's not your heart or lungs that fail you first as you age. It's your muscles. That's what determines whether or not you can stay independent. For seniors, the ability to stand up from a chair, carry groceries, or climb stairs can make all the difference in whether or not they can live independently. But sadly, many seniors fail to realize this until it's too late. Take Richard from Boston. At 75, Richard walked 2 miles every day, believing that was enough to keep him in top shape. But over time, he began to notice simple tasks becoming much harder. Lifting his suitcase into an overhead bin, getting up from his favorite chair, or even opening a bottle of medication became struggles. Despite walking every day, his muscle mass was fading. Richard's doctor explained something crucial. Walking exercises your heart and lungs, but it doesn't maintain the strength in your arms, shoulders, chest, and core muscles. These muscles need resistance training to stay strong. But here's the good news. You don't need a gym membership or complicated equipment to reverse muscle loss. Simple strength training such as resistance bands, bodyweight exercises like wall push-ups, or even lifting household items like soup cans or water bottles can make a huge difference. Strength training doesn't just make daily tasks easier. It can also extend your lifespan, improve brain function, and boost your immune response. In fact, your muscles produce compounds that protect your brain and fight inflammation. Let's do a quick test to see where you stand right now. Sit in a chair and without using your hands, stand up. Then sit back down and repeat. If you can, do this 5 to 10 times without struggling. That's excellent. But if it's difficult or impossible, your leg strength needs immediate attention. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What everyday task has become more challenging for you lately? Carrying groceries? Getting up from chairs? Let's talk about how we can address these specific challenges. Now let's move on to something equally important that walking alone can't provide: balance training. You might think that just because you can walk a mile without falling, your balance is perfectly fine. But here's a reality check. Walking on flat, predictable surfaces actually does very little to maintain the complex balance systems that your body relies on. It's like having a smoke detector that's never tested. You won't know it's failing until there's an emergency. And when it comes to aging, emergencies like falls are far more common than we realize. Falls are the #1 cause of injury among adults over 70. They send more seniors to the hospital than anything else. And what's even more heartbreaking is that many people never fully recover their independence after a serious fall. The CDC reports that 1 in 4 Americans over 65 fall every year, but fewer than half of them report it to their doctor. Why? Because admitting that balance problems are creeping in feels like admitting you're getting older. Balance decline happens sneakily. The brain and body have amazing compensatory systems that hide small balance issues, until one day you reach for something on a shelf and suddenly feel that terrifying moment of instability. That's when you realize your balance isn't what it used to be. Margaret from Minneapolis learned this the hard way. At 73, she'd been walking 2 miles every day for years and considered herself very fit. But one winter morning, stepping off a curb, her foot slipped slightly. She didn't fall, but she caught herself just in time. That moment of terror stayed with her. Margaret realized she was just one bad step away from a broken hip. Her doctor explained that, despite all her walking, her balance systems had weakened. Walking primarily challenges forward movement on flat surfaces, but it doesn't train your vestibular system in your inner ear, the proprioceptors in your joints, or the quick response muscles that prevent falls in unexpected situations. These systems need specific exercises to stay sharp. The great news? Balance can improve at any age, and it doesn't require much effort. There are simple exercises you can do right at home. Standing on one foot while brushing your teeth, walking heel to toe like you're on a tightrope, or gently shifting your weight from side to side while standing. These movements create mild instability, teaching your body to react quickly when real instability occurs. Balance exercises don't just prevent falls, they can improve brain function. Your cerebellum, which coordinates movement, is connected to parts of your brain responsible for memory and cognition. Research shows that improving balance can actually enhance your brain performance. So it's a 2-for-1 benefit. Want to check your current balance? Try this simple test. Stand near a counter for safety. Lift 1 foot an inch off the ground and see if you can hold steady for 10 seconds without touching anything for support. If it's difficult, your balance could use some immediate attention. I'm curious, when was the last time you felt unsteady or had to grab something to prevent a fall? Was it reaching for something? Getting out of the shower? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story might help someone else recognize their balance issues before a fall happens. Now let's talk about something that walking alone simply can't provide: flexibility and mobility. When you think about staying active, walking probably comes to mind. But there's an element crucial to keeping your body young that walking doesn't cover: maintaining your flexibility and range of motion. As we age, our joints naturally tighten, and our muscles become less pliable. This can lead to limited movement and discomfort. And this is why walking, no matter how regular, can't keep you feeling young and agile. Think about it. How often do you notice yourself stiffening up when you try to turn your head while driving? Or maybe reaching for a box on a high shelf feels more challenging than it used to. These seemingly small moments are actually significant signs that your flexibility is declining. And the more your flexibility declines, the harder daily tasks will become. Take Thomas, a 78-year-old who walked every day. He thought he was doing everything right, until he started noticing that getting out of bed was becoming a struggle. Bending down to tie his shoes felt like a chore, Turning his head to check for traffic wasn't as easy as it used to be. Despite his dedication to walking, he found himself increasingly stiff and uncomfortable. Walking doesn't prevent joint stiffness or enhance flexibility. But the good news is, you can regain your flexibility with simple exercises that don't require special equipment. Dynamic stretching, gentle mobility movements, and yoga stretches can work wonders. For example, neck rotations can help stretch out your neck muscles. Shoulder circles are great for improving mobility. Simple yoga movements like cat-cow stretches or seated forward bends can help lubricate your joints and reduce pain. Research has shown that improving flexibility can reduce pain and even enhance circulation. Better circulation means more blood flowing through your body, which helps alleviate stiffness and boosts your energy levels. Here's a quick test to check your flexibility. Sit comfortably and turn your head as far as you can to one side. Then, the other. Does it feel smooth, or do you notice any tightness or restrictions? If you feel any tightness, it's a sign that your flexibility needs attention. Now let's move to another crucial area that walking alone cannot address: core strength and posture. You might be surprised to learn that walking, despite all its benefits, does almost nothing to strengthen your core muscles or improve your posture. Yet, these deep, stabilizing muscles are the very foundation of your body's health. When your core weakens, everything else starts to suffer, much like a house with a crumbling foundation. When seniors begin to experience poor posture, it's not just about how they look. It fundamentally changes how their body functions. Poor posture is a major contributing factor to chronic back pain, restricted breathing, digestive issues, and an increased risk of falls. For many seniors, the discomfort from poor posture becomes so persistent that it limits their social activities and enjoyment of life. Just take Barbara, for example. At 76, Barbara had walked 3 miles every morning for decades, but she still found herself battling constant upper back pain and restricted breathing. Looking at photos of her granddaughter's graduation, she barely recognized herself. "When did I start looking so hunched over?" she wondered. Barbara's doctor explained that her core muscles had weakened significantly, which caused her spine to collapse forward, resulting in poor posture. Despite all the walking she did, she hadn't been strengthening her core muscles. The turning point came when Barbara's doctor introduced her to simple core exercises she could do anywhere. Instead of adding more walking, she learned to do things like standing against a wall with her shoulders and head touching it, gently pressing her lower back toward the wall, and holding the position while breathing normally. She also practiced seated pelvic tilts while watching television and abdominal bracing while standing in line at the grocery store. In just 6 weeks, Barbara felt remarkable changes. Her back pain diminished, her breathing felt easier, and her friends commented that she looked taller and more confident. "I feel like I've reclaimed inches of height I thought were gone forever," she told me. What's fascinating about core strength is how it affects the entire body. Your core doesn't just support your spine, it also creates a stable platform that allows your lungs to fully expand, your digestive system to function more efficiently, and your heart to pump with less strain. Research shows that improving your posture can increase lung capacity by as much as 30% in some seniors, which means more oxygen is reaching every cell in your body. Want to check your posture? Try this simple test. Stand with your back against a wall, making sure your heels, buttocks, shoulders, and head are all touching the surface. Is this position comfortable? Or does it feel unnatural? If maintaining contact between all these points is difficult, your posture has likely shifted from its optimal alignment. Finally, let's talk about something crucial that walking, especially on hard surfaces, can actually make worse: joint protection. Here's something that might surprise you, and it's the most important insight of all. Walking on hard surfaces like sidewalks, parking lots, or shopping malls can actually accelerate joint wear and tear after 70. This isn't just a personal opinion. It's a growing concern among rheumatologists and orthopedic specialists. As we age, the cushioning cartilage in our knees, hips, and ankles naturally thins. Our bodies also produce less synovial fluid, the natural lubricant that keeps our joints moving smoothly. The shock-absorbing structures that once protected our joints become less resilient. When these changes occur, the repetitive impact of thousands of steps on hard surfaces can gradually damage the very joints you're trying to protect. The consequence of joint damage goes beyond just discomfort. It becomes the primary reason many seniors stop being active altogether. When joint pain becomes too intense, the vicious cycle begins. Less movement leads to more stiffness, which leads to even less movement and ultimately increased dependence. Take William, a 77-year-old former postal worker from Chicago. William was proud of his daily 2-mile walk, rain or shine, but over time his knees began to hurt. Not just during his walks, but for hours afterward. "I thought I just needed to push through it," he said. "My father always said, 'No pain, no gain.'" But William's doctor explained that his persistent knee pain wasn't helping him build strength. It was a sign that his joints were being damaged with every step. The solution wasn't to stop moving. It was to change the type of movement. William's doctor recommended low-impact alternatives to walking, like swimming, using a stationary recumbent bike, and practicing gentle chair-based movements. These exercises allowed him to strengthen the muscles around his joints without the constant pounding. Within a month, William's knee pain had decreased dramatically. "I'm moving more than ever," he said, "but without the constant aching that used to keep me up at night." Water exercises in particular are incredibly effective. The buoyancy of water removes about 90% of your body weight from your joints, while still providing resistance for muscle strengthening. It's like working oil into a squeaky hinge, improving joint lubrication and reducing friction, which helps protect the cartilage. Want to check your joint health? Pay attention to how your body feels 1 hour after walking. Do your knees, hips, or feet feel comfortable, or do you experience stiffness and discomfort? Pain that lasts more than an hour after walking is your body's way of saying, "This movement is causing stress, not health." We've now covered all 5 critical areas that walking alone simply can't address: strength training, balance, flexibility, core and posture, and joint protection. Remember, aging doesn't mean decline. In fact, many seniors see remarkable improvements when they start focusing on these 5 areas. Your body can still respond, adapt, and grow stronger at any age. So I encourage you to think about which of these areas needs the most attention in your life. Maybe it's strength training, balance exercises, flexibility, posture, or protecting your joints. Whatever it is, start there. Which of these 5 priorities resonated most with you today? Will you start with strength, balance, flexibility, posture, or joint protection? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your experiences and how you're planning to take charge of your health. If you found this information helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Next week, I'll share a simple morning routine that incorporates all 5 areas in just 15 minutes. It's never too late to move better, feel better, and live better. See you next time.